Happy New Year, everybody. I hope that you had amazing holidays, and I hope that Santa made all of your audio dreams come true. And with the closing of 2023, I just want to discuss some of my top audio equipment picks. I'm Barrett. Welcome to Spec Tech. This list isn't about equipment that was only released in 2023, but rather my choices of some of the best equipment that came through my channel during the last year. It also isn't to say that what I chose is the best choice for everyone. This hobby is incredibly subjective, and I know that there will be plenty of you out there that don't agree with some of my choices. And that's really okay, guys, because we're all entitled to think what we think, and we're entitled to have our own favorites. Let's start it off with one of my personal favorite categories, and that's subwoofers. I've had several subwoofers come through the Spec of Tech doors. Right in the beginning of the year, I'd just concluded the videos on the SVS PB3000 and the Paradigm X15, so we're going to include those in this mix. I also had the Paradigm XR13, the JTR Captivator 2400s, and several models of the newly released tone winner subwoofers. Each of those subwoofers has their pros, and each has their cons. The SVS subwoofers have a huge brand and company with excellent customer service behind them, but they are overpriced for their performance. The Paradigm subwoofer does everything quite well, and even includes Anthem room calibration, but it's a bit large being a 2-foot cube. Moving up in the cost category, we have the XR13 and the JTR Captivator 2400. The XR13 is an excellent performing subwoofer for its compact size, and it looks absolutely beautiful. As a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite looking subwoofers, but at the $5,000 price tag, it's out of reach for a lot of consumers. The Captivator 2400 is more reasonable at $3,500 and has the most output out of all these subwoofers by a significant margin, but it does have utilitarian looks and is a little bit on the larger side for some people. So that leaves the tone winner subwoofers. I reviewed the D2000, the D4000, and the D6000. All of them performed well and above their price point, but the D6000 is the largest of the three with the 15-inch driver. With stellar output that outperforms subwoofers that are much more expensive and a free Bluetooth app for making changes on the go, it really does impress. And none of the subwoofers impressed me more than the D6000, for the simple reason that for its $1,399 price tag, it has output in the same league as the $2,900 SVS PB16 Ultra. So just to recap, it has similar performance to subwoofers double its price, it has a free app and Bluetooth connectivity, and the price is in reach for most consumers. And that's why the tone winner D6000 won my subwoofer of the year vote. Yes, there are subwoofers that I reviewed with more output, like the Captivator 2400, which is an endgame level subwoofer, no question, but because the price of the tone winner D6000 is just so attractive, it just edged out the win for me personally. Next up on my list is processor of the year. I've tried several processors in the recent past, and none of them have impressed me nearly as much as the Anthem AVM90. It's not exactly inexpensive at the $7,500 MSRP, but you actually do get a lot of bang for your buck. The sound is crystal clear with excellent channel separation and dynamics, and all while looking the part with its stellar looks, and playing the part with its useful and user-friendly web UI. And not to mention Anthem room correction is still one of the best in the business. It's no wonder that not only is it my processor of the year, it's also my choice of processor for my reference system. I owned one in the past and I sold it to try other processors with the rack, but I ended up going back to the AVM90 for my reference system build. I'm actually in the middle of making a video as to why I made the choice for the AVM90, and that video does release next week, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that video. What kind of list would this be if I didn't talk about speakers? There is a particular brand that just consistently gets praise and recognition for their amazing sound and build quality, and that brand is of course Arundel. Their 1723 THX Tower speakers take the speaker of the year for 2023 in my opinion. These speakers are dynamic, detailed, and transparent, while still remaining within a lot of consumers' grasp at $3,900 for a pair. And for that price, you are getting one of the best performing theater speakers on the market at or above their price point, and they still work beautifully for music as well. And the build quality is actually some of the best that I've seen regardless of price point. So it really is no wonder why they get rave reviews no matter who's talking about them. So far we've talked about sound related equipment. The next piece of equipment is more about video. Even though it does sport some ESS Sabre DACs for audio, it's the video aspect that really stands out about this piece of equipment. I recently decided to digitize my Blu-ray collection and decided on the Zedo UHD 5000 as my media player, and I'm sure glad that I did, because it's actually my media player of the year for 2023. The video processing on that Zedo player is just second to none. Colors just pop, and it manages to add a separation between objects on the screen that almost gives it like a 3D pop. I've experienced some network hiccups with the two 16TB drives that I installed in the UHD 5000, but even with that in mind, the user experience and software the Zedo uses is still well worth it. The fact that it automatically recognizes the movie, grabs the poster, rating, and the synopsis for you and puts it all together is just so convenient. If you are looking for a media player for your home movie collection, I highly recommend that you have a good hard look at the Zedo players. So last but not least, I want to end this list with my choice of amplifier of the year. Immediately, there are two 11-channel amplifiers that come to my mind, the Tone Winner 8300 and the Summit Hi-Fi A11. Although I haven't spent a lot of time with the A11 yet, it just has so much to offer, it's hard for me to glaze over it without at least a mention. And as much as I do love the A11, I haven't spent enough time with it to comfortably give it my top choice, but if it keeps performing and impressing the way it has been, it may just make an appearance on my list for 2024 if I decide to make one. But the amp that gets my vote for 2023 is the Legacy IV3 amplifier. I haven't done a review on it yet because I want my reference speakers to come in first. The Legacy IV3 amp deserves my patience and deserves an exceptional set of speakers to be tested with, so stay tuned for that amp review in 2024. But with that being said, it's one of my favorite amps that I've ever experienced in my space. It's dynamic with plenty of headroom given the 660 watts per channel into 4 ohm rating. It's also a Class D amp, so it remains nice and cool and it isn't too big or heavy. But what really stands out about the IV3 amp is its looks. In my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful amplifiers on the market. The rose gold accents and the black brushed aluminum chassis just had me drooling, so I knew I had to save up and get one of these amps one day. But as with everything in this hobby, it certainly isn't perfect. It comes with a hefty $5,400 US price tag, which keeps it out of reach for a lot of consumers. And with that, it brings us full circle. This hobby is subjective, and a lot of decisions made depend on the individual. I'd love to read your comments down below about what are some of your favorite audio and home theater equipment pieces of 2023. Please just keep it respectful and in the interest of discussion. And just remember, we're all here to enjoy our own systems. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.